Welcome back, digital watch fans, to Vintage Digital Watches. So I bought a lot online of watches. I bought it locally and I specifically bought it for this guy. Now the seller said that it wasn't working and my attempt is to get it fixed. Now I haven't opened the watch and I don't know what I'm getting myself into. My rule of thumb is always take care of the module before you do anything to the case, like polishing, because you do see that it does require a bit of polishing. Does have a battery inside, which I'm not too pleased about, but no signs of corrosion yet. Okay, let's fit the proper battery inside and see if it works. I always keep a stock of various size batteries, but in this case I don't think I have the correct size. We're going to try and hold this with our finger in place and see if the watch starts up. Okay, so nothing. Hopefully it's just a power supply issue. But now what we're going to do is completely strip the watch. So first things first, this watch has a crown and we're going to have to pull out the crown. And what you do is search for a place where you have to press in on a small lever. Usually it's specified in the manual, or even better if it's written somewhere near the crown. In this case you can see here, it says, or can you see it? It says push right there. So inside there's a little lever, which if we press, the crown with the stem assembly should come out. And there we go, came out. Now we can disassemble the module. And there we have the movement. This is a Citizen C100 if I didn't already specify that. It's a really desirable ProMaster series from the 90s, early 90s or late 80s. The board doesn't have that much corrosion. I mean, the board doesn't have corrosion at all on this side, which again can be a good thing or a bad thing. If it's a really clean board and the watch doesn't want to start, we might have an IC issue, an integrated circuit issue, and that's impossible to repair. Hopefully there's a bit of corrosion somewhere here and the watch isn't supplied with power from the battery or something like that. And for removing the indices you just need some two levers like these and a piece of kitchen wrap. Basically you just put it over to protect the dial, and then you just work your way with these two and remove out the indicators. But you have to be super careful because all of this area, the dial, is an LCD, and many times these get cracked during this operation. So if you have any other means to pull them out other than using levers, I recommend that. I have used levers for a long time and I'm familiar with the procedure, but whenever I do it, I sweat my pants off. So let's be super careful and try to pull it out in a different way. Now there are pullers, but what you can do is not very professional. Just hook it up with your nail and just pull towards the exterior. And there it came out really easy. And we'll do the other two using the kitchen wrap. And just be super careful. Okay, one is out. And there we go. Phew. Okay, now the rest is held in place via this plastic frame, and it has latches on this side, that side, and two over here, which we can undo using a screwdriver. Okay, so here we are under the microscope, And the point here is to look at the board and see if we can find any corrosion. And we do see in this place here, oh, right there, that's, I don't know, some peeling off the traces there. And we have another one here. Now this doesn't have anything to do with the working of the watch. Maybe it does have to do with some dead segments that might appear, but oh, and jackpot. Now that right there is corrosion. This is how a pad should look like without corrosion. So obviously there's some corrosion over there. Make a mental note of that, and then just go around the board and see. Do we have some more around this area? This is where the minus pad would touch the board and get power from the battery. You do see there's some this greenish substance we're looking for, but nothing that wouldn't come out if we do it with some alcohol. Okay, and we seem to be fine for the rest of the board. Let's flip it over and see if we, let's focus a bit, see if we have anything on this side. Okay, pretty good. Meh, bit of corrosion there, but not too much. Okay, and this is this the side? You can see there when you don't see the trace, when the trace is really dark green like that and you can't see it like you see here, then that means that's corrosion. But I think this is, yeah, so this is the one that we discovered on the other side. We do see a scratch here, so probably I'm not the first one inside this watch. Yeah, and look at that scratch there. Okay, so next we're going to take our multimeter and just set it to continuity, and we'll have to check that one trace we saw. Where is it? On the upper side. Okay, so that's where it leads on the other side, on this side, and then it gets to that point over there, which is really close to our pad as a reference point. Okay, let us see. Yeah, and it's this one right there. Let's do a test so we see we have our device working. And we're going to touch. Okay, so that one is interrupted for sure. So we'll try to mend that trace, give the board a good clean, and see if it works, because the rest of this board is looking pretty good. So yeah, yeah. Before anybody asks, because I had this question come up, what multimeter do you use? I do have a one that's a Fluke that I got this year, but this is my trusty Sanwa. Can do all sorts of measurement, but for watches all you need is continuity and maybe a capacitance meter. Like you see here, it measures capacity. Nice pocket format, get one. They are really good quality. I know they've been reviewed on the EEV blog. They have gold plated tips. Highly recommend one of these. You don't need more for what you do on watches. First things first for this trace is just to scratch away with this needle, which is polished. Its end looks like a chisel, and we're just going to scrape away that corrosion until we get to the bare trace, if there's anything left of it. I have to tell you, this is hard to be doing looking through a viewfinder. And you can already see that we have the trace starting to show up. My bet is that exactly in this area where there's the crossing from one part of the PCB to another, corrosion has eaten away that bridge, if you will. And now some cleaning with some isopropylic alcohol in the area where we cleaned away the corrosion, and we're just going to go over the entire board. Okay, and for the conductive paint we are going to use this. It's light silver L100 or silver conductive paint. I know some people like to use the one in the syringes, which is thicker. I like to use this liquid one because so this is a liquid, and there we have right at the bottom the silver, and we have to shake it to stir it up and make an homogeneous compound. This is a lot more conductive than that paste, and I trust it a lot more to do a proper bridge. The more thicker one is indeed easier to apply, but with this I got better results. And if you use a multimeter and just draw a straight line, you will see that this has better conductivity than that one. So we'll use this, and then we'll use napkins, and we'll just go ahead and split, well, toilet paper, not napkins. We're going to split it like that. Just take a small strip, and then just roll the end in between your fingers. And you will be left with this paintbrush, if you will, which we're going to dip into the compound and just paint over the place where we want to do the trace. We'll have to do it multiple times to build enough silver there for a good conductivity. And this is what the final result looks like, and probably there's too much light. Okay, there we go. And as you can see, I've crossed into other traces. Now they won't make contact because the other traces do have conformal coating over them, but it's a good idea to remove it from there. And what we have to do is just do small passes. And again, this is hard to do through the viewfinder. And essentially just remove that excess silver compound. Don't be too harsh because you don't want to remove any of the conformal coating. And you just do a lot of that until you have sufficient clearance between them. And this is 30 minutes after the last coat. So you do have to leave it like that to be able, for 30 minutes, to be able to scratch it. And if you want to apply conformal coating over the silver compound, do it after 24 hours. This is very important because otherwise, if I'm going to go ahead and apply it now, most of the conformal coating will start dissolving the silver compound, and it will make a mess of it. Okay, and time to test what we've done. And we know that that is the point where that trace led to. We'll put our probe there, and it should be linked now to this end of this capacitor. And yep, it is there. Okay, now all we have to do is reassemble this and keep our fingers crossed. Okay, and fingers crossed. Yeah! And there it is. I'll have to find a suitable battery just to be able to perform the reset on this and get it going properly. Okay, so I managed to find a proper battery for it, and I attached the latch correctly. And now the screen has all of its segments lit, and we're just going to put in the stem. Okay, it's there, and I believe if I'm going to press any of the buttons, it should unreset itself. Yeah. And there we go. Okay, and as you can see, also the analog is working. So yeah, we were super lucky this time, because all we found was that little corrosion there, which was the culprit for all of this module not working. Okay, now all we have to do is recondition the case a bit. So we're going to remove the bezel, remove the buttons, polish the glass, and then reassemble everything in, and also find the strap for this, and we'll see how the final result looks. So if you've seen my videos before, you know my technique. I like to use sandpaper sheets on a piece of glass, so everything is flat. Depending on how deep the gouges are in the glass, I usually go from 600 up to 2000, and the 2000 is just so I can have a nice finish before I do the final polish, which is with cerium oxide slurry. So one thing to mention is that the cerium oxide slurry part is, well, a dirty business. And one thing I used to do is I would tape the back of the watch with duct tape to make sure that that doesn't get inside the watch. But it usually did a bit, and it was hard to clean afterwards. Now what I advise you to do is just screw back or put the back cover onto the watch, and then for the holes where you have pushers or crown, just plug them up with a toothpick, and you're going to break that toothpick right there. That's a plug, and this way no cerium oxide slurry will get in there. And here is what the glass looks like after the cerium oxide slurry, if this thing would focus. Okay, there we go. We have a nice, very nice finish. And now we're going to go off to the bathroom and give this a good clean. And there it is in all its glory. So all in all, this watch really had one single fault, because everything else we did other than that trace fix was just overhauling it, giving it a nice polish, a nice clean, stripping everything and cleaning the buttons. All in all, a super nice watch. I know this is also called the Wingman. Thanks for watching the video. Do subscribe because I try to release as often as I can digital watch related videos like this one or reviews, so make sure to watch. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.